Hello and welcome back.
What's up,
to
guys?
The Ecuador Insider Podcast. Jesse, Brandon, we are pleased to be with you. We haven't made an episode in a little while. We're glad to be back. We just wrapped up a retreat. That was really a lot of fun. Really a lot of fun for us, but we've been doing them for a while, and what's gotten great, what's really what I've come to appreciate about them is just the experience that people seem to have on the retreats. Hearing from people, best experience of my life, multiple people, and watching sort of the life-changing stuff that goes on in some of these retreats, or really probably all of them. Really been cool. So anyways, we just wrapped up that was fun. We have our next one coming up.
We do.
August 30th. So if Vilcabamba, Ecuador in general, but really Vilcabamba, if you think if it's on your radar as a place to go, place to check out, if you want to have a great vacation, hang out with some cool people, learn a ton, see a ton, relax, unwind.
Have some adventures.
Have some adventures, absolutely. And very likely make some lifelong friendships. That seems to happen on every retreat that we've done. Come on down, check out the links below. We'd love to see you down here on August 30th.
Yeah, it's this last group, that's an understatement, man. There was multiple folks on this group that openly said, and even check out our reviews. They put it in the reviews. This was the best experience of my life.
The reviews are part of that, very rewarding for me to hear them express them in that way.
Dude.
It's really nice.
Right. It's inspiring. Like, it makes us, it's like a fulfilling thing, right? It's, the retreats, you've been down here a long time. I've been down here 4 years. So most of the stuff isn't new. Although I did hike Mandango with this group for the first time. I've been down here 4 years and hiked Mandango for the first time. So that was pretty special.
And part of the reason you were able to do that was because, you were able to get stem cell treatment amongst other types of treatment here at a fraction of the cost, and fix your knee and have it be good enough to hike a not. It's up.
No, it was a thing. Yeah, it was a thing. It's not. I mean, it's not super.
No, it looks like from here. It looks like it's really far, and then when you hike it, you realize it's not a big deal at all.
I think we did it with the group, not at a breakneck pace. It took us like 55 minutes or an hour or something.
Yeah, when I was in shape and younger, I would like power up it.
Yeah.
Not daily, but like several times a week. Yeah. It's like I was down to like 30, 35 minutes. I'd get up,
well,
and then I would like run down. It was fun.
Okay. Yeah, the down.
I couldn't do that anymore.
The down for me was the most challenging.
Down
that's
is
the
tough,
first. That was the first time I really I mean, that's the most I did besides play pickleball. Once before that for 22 months. I hadn't done anything beyond like normal walking.
Right.
Played pickleball for a little bit, and then did that a week or so later. So like coming down, I could tell like the stabilizers weren't ready for that yet. Yeah. So I was a little shaky. But going up, it was good. It was good. Even the last sprint, the last where it's kind of pitched up pretty steep. Carl sprinted up it, and I'm like, oh man. Put my ego cap on, and I sprinted up the end, and I'm like, all right, you can still do it.
The last how long?
Not very long.
Like 20 feet or something.
I don't know.
Because it's steep.
It's really steep.
Yeah.
Travis had the drone, so he goes, you guys look cool doing that final sprint. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and we've got some good footage coming out, so check out those videos as well.
Yeah, the videos. I mean, for me, man, just hearing, spending time with a lot of the retreat participants individually, and just hearing, their stories and understanding, where they're coming from, why they're even considering a place like this, you realize how no matter where people are from, no matter what they've been through, no matter what their religious beliefs or political beliefs or any of that stuff, there's some things that bind us all together.
Of course.
Well, it's just easy to overlook
so
that stuff.
Yeah.
There's so much division, and it's nice to be able to get through and even have conversations like that are meaningful, and and you can really understand somebody's passions or how you can relate to that, and understand also that, man, it's everybody's going through something. There's always something that we're going through, that we're struggling with, and it's different, and we don't always know, and people don't show it, and people don't, maybe don't even recognize it, and that's kind of like when people are open to share that or express like how they're working through it, that's cool, man. Like it's like it bonds people together.
Yeah.
And it, through some of those conversations, for me, one of the things that made me, it just dawned on me, like it's so easy, we forget, we weren't always these people with these wounds, like with these things we're overcoming or trying to overcome or transcend or heal. We used to, there at some point, even in this lifetime, there was a little boy in us that wasn't scared, that was strong and faithful, and in all of us,
and just did it and took life by the horns.
Yeah,
and just lived
yeah.
in the moment.
Like in it, so it's hard. It's hard to it's hard to remember that and get back to it. But it's there. It's like eventually, like hopefully, that's kind of the path.
I think a lot of people too. It's like I think that people feel some sort of calling to come here. Mm-hmm. A lot of them, I think, even though they'll tell you some reasons why that are very like mundane's the wrong word, but just sort of I don't know, not normal's not the right word either, but just some normal stuff like cost of living or weather or whatever all those things are. But I think people feel a calling, and I think a lot of people don't even realize exactly why they want to be here so much. And a lot of that, I think, ends up having to do with healing. Like, I think, and it was cool. Yeah, it was cool to see, one of the participants get some help during the health day and have like a couple of them, and have like a whole experience in that. And that's the other thing is like a lot of, I'd say at this point maybe most people in the world are dealing with some level of health challenge, and this is a remarkable place to heal. Not only because it's like on multiple levels, like on the like just the lifestyle level, and then also like the nervous system level, just because of the way things are here, and then also, and then the fundamentals of the land and the valley and all that stuff, and the healthy environment. But so maybe that's four, but also the amount of just incredible health practitioners that can like legitimately help people who live here and work here and don't charge a lot comparatively.
Right, and they're not like in the system to do a job
At all.
Right, they're here
like at all.
They're not even, most of them, many of them aren't even from here.
Well, and most of them, if they didn't want to be working, don't have to.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. Right? They're choosing. Not only are they choosing to live here for themselves, where they could be making more money.
Could be in New York City.
They could be in Europe. They could be anywhere. And they're choosing to live here for themselves and or raise their families here, or retire here. But they're choosing to practice. Their healing modality, their mastery, their gift here, and share it here. That's pretty awesome, man.
No, it is. It's unique, and it's again rewarding to see how many people come here and lose weight and get off of medications and feel healthier and feel happier and and just all of the ways that this valley supports that. It's beautiful. Yeah. Another cool thing from the retreat that I made mental note of was, so one of the participants, one of their closest friends is Ecuadorian, and being here sort of connected some dots for him. I thought that was cool.
That was awesome.
And then another guy who I appreciated what he said was saying that he knows, I don't remember if it was one or if it was a few Ecuadorians, but he knows a couple of Ecuadorians, and the reason he was interested in Ecuador was because the way he feels after he hangs out with these Ecuadorians that he was referring to. And it's like, that so much communicates what is so hard to communicate about this place. Of like, we try to talk about sometimes the culture, and we try to give examples, but it's really just a feeling. It's like a vibration. It's just like it's like they're cool and they're relaxed and they're down to earth and they're humble and there's no pretense and they're not keeping up with the Joneses and they're not the interactions are not transactional, blah blah. Like we can say all that stuff and it's all true, but it's really kind of like that it's like
right.
yeah.
And that's the part though. That's the challenging part as well, because you're referring to the local Ecuadorian culture community, and if you don't speak the language and you come here, it's going to take you it takes a long time to like get into that, to be able to, you can see it on a somewhat superficial level, but it takes a long time to get into that and understand that. And some people some people never do, and some people never give it a chance because they don't get to experience it, because they didn't, do what it takes to get into the culture and be part of that. And then they can have a different perception because they didn't do what it take. They didn't, pay the price or do what it takes to to experience that. They didn't earn it. I mean, that's a better way. Maybe they didn't earn it. No, but you know what I mean?
No, absolutely, I do. Yeah.
Right. So then those are the folks that end up leaving, or they have a different perspective on the culture because they didn't really earn it or get the opportunity to experience it because they didn't earn it.
Yeah, and sorry, were you finished?
No, it's just I feel like I'm not capturing it the way I'm thinking of it.
Well, I think I'll say this then, if this may be what you're trying to capture or may not be, but I think the only thing that stops people from having that experience is two things, which are similar: preconceived notions that gets in their way, like they don't like me, or they don't accept me, or they're this and that and a third, like judgments about the locals.
Yep.
And or fear.
Right.
So it's like because all of us, our own perspectives just shape everything. So it's like a lot of people make these judgments or have these ideas about the way people are here that is just false. Like it's just not accurate. But it's like, even, when I was picking up my daughter and I met you guys at your friend's little house, and they do this little restaurant on Fridays, I guess. Yeah. And it's a nice family. I didn't really know them.
They're an awesome family, dude.
Yeah, they're a nice family, and they're doing food, and the food was delicious, and you guys have a really close relationship. And I just remember, it's just indicative to me of like the people here, right? It's not everybody, obviously, but just overall. When when you're saying hello, right, and you're saying hello, or you're saying goodbye, or you're asking a question and you're receiving an answer, nobody's trying to impress you. Nobody's trying to make you think something about them in the course of interacting with you. It's literally like sometimes it's striking to me when I see somebody talking or like having, interacting, just how pure it's like it's just a human being being a human being. And that's mostly just not the case at home.
Right.
It's just mostly you're interacting with like someone's self-image back home.
Right.
You're interacting with like, I don't know, with what they want you to believe about.
Right. You're interacting with a salesman.
Yeah, at some level, like exactly. Which I totally get.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging that either. But it's just, for me, it's refreshing and much, I like it much better.
Right.
The lack of the pretense, the lack of the like, I want you to think these things about me.
Right. And some of that, I think, is a product of, well, it's obviously culture, but why, right? Well, back home, time is money, right? So you don't you need to, it's all about building rapport as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible, and getting to the sale, right? And whatever the
Right, getting to the point, which is based on a financial transaction of some type or another.
It's right. So it's like manufactured rapport to get to a transaction. That's kind of
right.
You know,
Right. How can we superficially relate to each other here to have a successful outcome?
Right. Where here, because time is money, so like, all right, that's the way it works. Here, it's not that. Yes, money's important. Yes, people need money to to live their lives and do what they want to do, but they're not. It's not. That's not what time is about here. Time is more about being in the moment, being with family, and seeing that, and like that family, the Aguantakas, they're happy and content and smile. They're always happy,
clearly,
and helpful and friendly and welcoming. And Quinn eats dinner there 5 days a week. There's 18 of them that or something that live in that house. There's no windows. The mattresses are on the floor. But they're fine having Quinn feeding my son, or giving me chickens, or things like you just wouldn't think with the jobs the odd jobs that some of them do, that it would be so, like, finances would be such like a scarce resource, and they are, but they don't treat it that way.
Right.
And because, it's not like they're just lighting fires with dollar bills, but the fact that they're willing to do that stuff without question, without wanting something in return,
right,
and happy about it, and it's really
that
cool.
part of the culture is really cool too. It's like people really do give without expectation.
Yeah.
Which is something, that I think we're like, we may have heard that at some point in our life, at home. It might be like something people strive for or something people would like to do, but yeah, it's here, it's just kind of the norm. No, I was in the park. Well, actually, the pigeon story is kind of funny too.
It is.
This was that day or that time. It was yesterday, but I was in. So, anyways, actually, this is the whole kind of thing. Actually, kind of shows how Vilcabamba is. So I was, I had twin girls recently, and
what?
You didn't know, did you?
What?
I had twin girls recently, and as a result, I'm like with my boys who are now 4 and 6, like all the time, which has been fun. But I'm with them like all the time, and so I'm finding a nice balance between them putting up with what I have to do and me going to do the things that they want to do, and doing some of the stuff that works for both of us, like going to the river or things like that, or going to the pool and the steam room. And so yesterday, Kirsten needed me to go. I had played basketball in the morning. We have this great 2-3 day a week basketball crew here, and there's and they're doing tennis and pickleball, and that stuff's great here too. But
pickleball's fun.
Pickleball's really fun. And so I played basketball in the morning, so my body, it's about as much as my 42-year-old body can handle, and I got my competitive edge. Ian took 3 out of 4 from you, and 2 out of 3 last week. So just saying, no egos. No. Anyways, no, but so we played basketball. I'm exhausted. My muscles are cramping. I'm down in coconuts trying to survive. And I needed to go back home and pick up Kirsten, my daughter, my 16-year-old daughter. And so that kind of sucks because I gotta go back 15 minutes, and I'd like to go do other things, and but she needs a ride to town. So, so as I'm leaving or getting ready to go back to go get her, Jacob, my 6-year-old, runs into a friend of his in town. So they start hanging out, and now they want to hang out. So I'm getting ready to go, and the kid's mom, and this is actually a Canadian lady, but the kid's mom is like, well, how long are you going to be here, whatever. And I was like, well, probably an hour or so. And she's like, well, I'm just hanging out. I'm just going to go hang out in the park, like the center square. So if he wants to hang out, that's fine. I'm like, all right, cool. So then I'm leaving now with JoJo, but then my 4-year-old, but then he has a meltdown because he doesn't want to leave if his brother's gonna go play with his friend. They're throwing paper airplanes and having fun. So I kind of look at her like, hey, you know, and she's like, no problem. So now my 4-year-old and my 6-year-old go off with the mom to the park, which is half a block away. It's all very relaxed, you know, I don't even have her phone number, you know, it's like, I know her, you know. I go home, do what I gotta do. Then I get back to the park, you know, maybe an hour and a quarter later or whatever it was. And they're just hanging out, having fun, playing in the fountain, you know, doing what kids do. It's very relaxed in town, you know, riding their bikes around the park and feeding the pigeons. So, so I get there. So that morning, Jacob was asking me something about catching birds. And I was like, I don't think you can really catch birds. They're too fast. And then he was asking, like, well, how do people catch birds? And I was like, I don't really know. Maybe they use a net, or maybe they use some sort of trap where the bird flies. You know, I don't really know. And we're kind of having that conversation on the way down to town. And he's like, well, you can catch birds. You can catch pigeons, he tells me. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, I'll show you or something. Or he tells me, like, so he asks for money to go buy. They buy these like corn kernels to feed the pigeons in the park. So I give him $1, and he buys 2 bags this big for $1, and for him and his friend and his brother. And then so I'm chatting with the lady, with his friend's mom, who's actually getting ready to go back to Canada for a while. She's been here a few years. She's headed back to Canada for a bit. And we're talking about that. And like some of the things that we're talking about are just kind of indicative, right? It's like she's worried. She's looking forward to going back for her own reasons, but like she's worried about her health, the food, you know, the food
When she goes back.
The cost, her son not having the same sort of social interactions that he has here.
Yeah.
And having to fight the good fight on everything. You know what I mean? Like here, we're all of an alternative perspective on just about everything. Mm-hmm. So in New York, I was the odd parent who did everything a little different. Mm-hmm. Who the helicopter parents, who seems to be everyone now, thought I was like, I'm bad because I'm letting my kid
DCFS.
Right. I'm letting my kid jump in the puddle and run down the block and, you know, climb the wall and, you know, go to the store and, you know, like I want my kids to experience life and to feel confident and not feel like everything's dangerous and don't do anything because we have to worry about what everyone thinks, and I don't want to play that game. So I'm that, but here I'm like everyone else. I'm a parent like everyone else. I know I drive around this town with 1 or 2 of my sons on my lap almost all the time.
Right.
And you know, excuse me, so does Dave, and so does Tristan, and so does, right? And so she's sort of talking about that stuff of like, you know, there's no sort of community. Like here you can just literally come to the center square of the park and the kids will just find their friends. Right. And the parents can hang out or not, you know, it just kind of works. She's like, well, back home, there's nothing like that. And she's kind of worried about, you know, having to be the odd parent that isn't eating the way the other kids are eating, that isn't making the medical decisions that the other kids' parents are making, that isn't making the school decisions that the other kids, and having to always be sort of against that. And I was saying to her, I'm like, yeah, for me, that's really one of the relieving and nice things about living here, is that my views are not abnormal here. Right. You know, my views, like and we were sharing this, you know, we both felt this way, is like, you know, here you can have a deep, meaningful interaction with anyone anytime you want. It's like most people in the town are not only up for that, it's almost the expectation.
Right. On your first meeting. You know, which if you're not prepared for that, it could be,
it could be a little off-putting.
It could be right. So did he?
Oh, I forgot. Right. So I had to get back to the pigeon. So he goes and feeds the pigeons, and I'm not paying attention, and then he walks back like this with a pigeon, just nonchalant, like it's nothing. So I took a picture and took a video, and so it was awesome.
No, Dad, you can catch birds.
Yeah, like, bro,
told you. Oh, that's good stuff, man.
No, and the whole, you know, the experience too of having the babies recently, and just seeing like how much support we got in that, just from the community, and you know, just so many meals and gifts and well wishes, and just little gestures.
Right.
It's very.
That's awesome. Man.
It's cool. Yeah. It's a.
I mean,
community here is amazing.
And you just think about it, we had retreat participants from this retreat bring gifts.
Yes. Yeah. That was very kind. If you're watching this, thank you very much. Yeah. That was
We
very
try.
sweet of
You know,
them.
we don't say names of folks unless we've talked to you ahead of time and you're cool with us sharing your name. So. We've shared names in the past, and that's why. So if you're watching and you're wondering why we're not saying your names, we're being respectful of your privacy.
Right. Yeah. No. Even like Mira came up to the house. She's been on the channel, and Mira came up to the house and did a little ceremony for us before the babies came. It was great. And then Buddha, who's also been on the channel. And these are healers and kind of shaman healer, just energy, cool people who do cool stuff. Buddha came up afterwards and did some of his like cranial sacral type work that he does with the babies and kind of got them adjusted and, all just out of the goodness of their heart. Like just
Buddha and I had a laugh when it was a few days after the girls were born, and I ran into him at Juice Factory, and he, we were talking, and he's like, so twin girls, and they're born this month, and he's doing the zodiac, and I could see, and he's like, oh, this is gonna be fun for him.
Yeah, well, I think, was it Buddha? It might have been Buddha. Someone asked me, the Aries, which are my girls, tend to be like my least favorite zodiac sign.
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. I was listening to you and your daughter go back and forth. It can't be worse than that, right?
Yeah. That's.
Although I deal with that with my daughter as well.
Yeah.
Maybe worse.
Worse?
It's bad. We've hit a little bit of a rhythm recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, gosh, she likes to be right.
Yeah, no, we've been having conversations with other, because in our friend group back in the States, I have one buddy that has an older son, but most of the kids, Bella's the oldest, and here, same, we have a few friends that are in Cuenca that have some older kids, Bella's age, and at first it's like, man, I don't even want to say anything. And then we finally say anything. Everybody's going through the same thing, it's just kind of like, wow, that's just, where we started with, everybody's, dealing with something, you don't know what they dealt with this morning. You don't know what, trauma they had growing up in any part of their life.
Yeah.
And it's easy to forget that we all have something like that, somewhere. And then, because you think it's just so unique to you. And it is.
And it's not.
Yeah. Right. And then it's the same thing with raising kids. There's not a book on how to be a best parent. There's a million, right? And they're all wrong, and they're all it's
they're all wrong. They're all right.
Yeah. And then you realize, wow, this is so, I can't believe it's, woe is me. This is not what I expected. I can't believe it. And then you're like, oh, everybody's,
Well, it's just a reflection of you.
That's right. Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah. And then you see, and it's like, wow, if you just resign yourself to the fact that we're going to fuck them up no matter what, and we do our best
to pressure off.
Yeah, right. I mean, in a way, it's like, all right.
Well, and it takes away guilt, which is important, actually.
Right, because you shouldn't be carrying that anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That wasn't yours to hold, man. And that's interesting, right? Because you think about just not even on a spiritual level, but just growing up, in the 3D here, and. I always thought, you see those things where, what would you say to your younger self? Or what would, and, I never really thought about that. But if I had to think about it now, it would be like the weight of things. It's like, all right, well, sometimes things feel really heavy. And at that moment, they should. That's the point.
Right.
Right? And
some
of those
there's lessons in that.
Right. And then some of those things get lighter. As you and then all of a sudden something else becomes heavy, you know, and
The next lesson.
right. So it's like, oh, do things get easier? Well, yes and no. Like they get lighter. It's not always this hard. It's not always this easy, you know. Like it's just interesting. Like, what would you say? You'd say, well, yeah, that it's not always going to be this heavy, younger Brandon, but it's going to be heavier at times too, you know. And
the relationships are fascinating learning experiences. It's like the lessons are always in the other in many ways, at least for me. It's like my daughter, like, first of all, you see yourself reflected back in your kids.
oh yeah.
So I look at my daughter and like a lot of her habits and stuff that I don't like, it's like, whoa, that's me. Like
Right.
you got a lot of that from me.
Right. That's where we're talking about Belle and Kirsten. That's because thank God they don't look like us, but they act like us.
They're kind of the female, right?
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
And so there's that part, and then there's the whole part of like, there's always these very profound lessons and evolutionary leaps through having successful interactions with people, through what it takes for you to have a successful interaction with someone who there's baggage and history with, and who there's like, who could, like, either one of you it could go south.
Right. In
Easily.
any moment.
Right. To like fix that and like navigate that successfully requires an evolutionary leap, a lesson, like a box checked on a lesson. So yeah, it's always, you know, those things for me have been very profound in terms of, you know, in terms of learning, in terms of like what I need to learn next.
Right. You know what I need to learn next?
How to catch a rooster.
I'm gonna chase this dog out of here. That's what I need to learn next. Get out of here.
Uh-oh. That's not good. My phone is...
Uh-oh.
That's weird, though. I thought I had deleted everything that needed to be deleted. I
Well,
have my new phone.
why do you keep downloading Shakira videos?
The way she moves her hips, obviously.
Hey, baby, when you move like that.
You know, I'd watch videos of you if you could move your hips like that.
Dude, did you see me in the Vaca Loca? Bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
I did.
yeah, I moved those
So
hips.
tell them about the Vaca Loca.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. I actually don't totally understand where the tradition came from. I don't know the history of the tradition
I've never asked you.
or the relevance of it, other than it's for traditional events.
Yeah.
It often is part of celebrations,
Right.
honoring. You know, generally, you know, like Catholic like this was the novena. It's always like religious type celebrations or parties, and then they have this Vaca Loca song, right? So it's I don't even know if the singer's Ecuadorian. I don't even know, but it's the same song. It's the same version of the song, and you know, it's an upbeat kind of fun song, and they have this, you know, steel caged, you know, version of a cow, like it looks like kind of like an upside down baby carriage, you know, baby cradle.
Yeah.
But it's got handles. Oh, Jesse, what'd you do, man?
¿Cómo que? Ya lo borré.
Pero en el basurero también.
No, es iPhone. ¿Cómo?
No hay que borrar del basurero también, si no, no se...
¿En dónde? ¿Cómo?
En el... Eliminados.
Yo nunca he sido eso. ¿Cómo sabes?
You gotta go to deleted and then formally delete,
Aquí, borrar permanentemente.
and then remove them from there.
Okay.
Porque ahí se demoran 30 días en borrar automático.
Ah, ¿en serio? Ok.
Ajá.
Mira. Ok. Delete. Yeah. Ahora debe ser.
Good.
La vaca loca.
The vaca loca. Yeah, so it's like an upside down like baby cradle, but it looks like a cow, and sometimes it's steel or cloth or whatever, but they have all these spinning wheels and bottle rockets and all these fireworks attached to it. And then they light it, and then there's a guy that gets inside of it and runs around. There's like an open, they move all the chairs, like all these chairs, like, so through all the singing and meals and performances, there's people that sit in the middle, and then there's bleachers sometimes, depending on the location. And then during the Vaca Loca, they clear that out, and then people go around the perimeter, and then the kids, if there's any kids that are brave, some of them don't do it, they'll kind of run around, and the Vaca Loca dances around as they're playing this song, and it's shooting fireworks and bottle rockets and spinning things and at the people in the crowd.
A lot of smoke and a lot of fire. Sparks.
Right. It's
Sparks
great.
and smoke.
So the first time I saw it, I'm like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, it's insane how close people are. Nobody cares. There's kids running in front of it trying to get shot, by
Sparks going on everywhere.
Right, sparks everywhere. Like,
it's
my
very
first
strong
reaction
sulfur
is
smell.
like, wow, that is so not safe, but it's so awesome. Like, I can't believe it. So then you start seeing it at a couple of the events, and over the last couple of years, as we've become friends with Aguinsacas and spending time up in Los Wilcos, right now is their 9-day celebration, novena celebration, where I think they're celebrating the patron saint of Mary. But it's so there's like a program, and then there's music, and there's either a band or a singer or a DJ or both or all three. There's dancing, there's community dancing, there's like folkloric dancing, there's raffles, there's the Vaca Loca, there's all, it's like a program every night for the 9 days. So Bella's and Kirsten's Nukanchi dance group they got invited to do, a dance there. And this was like the second night, or it might have been the first night of the novena. And it was like, and so they're dancing, we're there, and all of a sudden, like, Diego and Chino come up to me and say, "Brandon, come here. I'm like, oh no. Like, I could already see, like, in their eyes, like they were up to something in a way, and they're like, and then he put his hand on her shoulder, and he's like, "You're part of the culture now. Will you be the And I was like, like, part of me immediately was like, hell yeah. I've been wanting to do this for 4 years. And then all of a sudden I'm like, no, I really don't want to do it. I really don't. But then my parents are here, they're visiting. I'm like, I have to do it. So I grabbed the cow and I put it up, and then Diego's like, he's like, bro, you gotta kneel down. I can't light it. So then I kneel down and he lights it, and we go off, and he's like, I'm like, I don't know the dance, because they do like a dance, like it's like some kind of dance. And I'm like, I don't know the dance. He's like, just dance crazy. He's like, it's the crazy cow, just to go crazy. So I had fun with it, man, and did it, and it actually felt pretty cool, man.
I mean, so again, your mom is cool, man. So we go to watch Kirsten and Bella dance, me, your mom, and Tiff.
And that was at a different novena.
At a different,
Yeah.
Over right here.
Yeah.
And they do the Vaca Loca, of course. And when I see the Vaca Loca come out, like, I get out of there.
Right.
Because I'm a curmudgeon, and it stinks, and there's sparks everywhere, and the music's loud, and your mom, I mean, she was right in the fray.
Yeah.
She's breathing and just getting sparked on. She's laughing, having a great time. Your mom's awesome.
Yeah. She had fun, man. She had fun. She enjoyed it. And then they got to see some cool stuff. And I mean, dude, I don't know. Like, there's probably been gringos that have done that, but there may not be many that have done that. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And we're doing it. We're going tonight.
Yeah.
We're doing it again,
Oh, that's right. They got the dance tonight. I may even go tonight.
Yeah, there's a dance tonight, so it's another event, and Bella and Kirsten created this choreography for some of the younger boys in the Los Wilcos, and a couple of the girls, and they're going to do a little dance and have meals. So we'll go.
Cool.
I think Fernando's going to come with us and maybe get some footage of that.
Awesome.
And see.
Awesome.
Yeah, should be cool.
Yeah, so, I guess we should probably talk a little bit about, well, we could also wrap there. What do you think?
Well, or what? You didn't tell me the first one.
Well,
What are my options? Wrap or talk about what?
There's a lot of stuff here, which most of it will probably hit next time. But no, I was just kind of, it's interesting, like this whole sort of multiple reality or dual reality time we're in, where, Ecuador has gotten very dangerous in a certain way,
Right.
and then at the same time, it's got all these solutions for all that stuff, and it's like people seem to continue to get the call anyway, which is interesting to me, and just sort of, the perception of all that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Why not? It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's not. How long have we gone, Fernando?
Yeah, we got about 5 more minutes before
5 minutes.
before we got to wrap.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's tough to get into that in 5 minutes.
All right. Well, we'll leave a cliffhanger then.
Yeah.
Talk about a little bit of that stuff next time. I got a bunch of stuff on this list, man.
Good.
We're gonna go to, me and you are gonna battle, bro.
About what?
RFK.
What was there to battle on?
I don't know. I'm gonna find it though.
How many of RFK books have you read?
I've never read an RFK book.
Okay. How many TikTok 30-second clips of RFK have you watched?
I'm not on TikTok. I don't have a TikTok account.
Oh, okay. Where else have you gotten your RFK sound bites?
X.
Yeah. Okay.
Solely X, I think.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe a couple on Facebook.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dude, RFK's RFK, man. What is there to say?
I don't know. We haven't talked about it yet.
What would you like? All right, we'll save that for the future. We can get into that one in 5 minutes and be done with it.
Oh, excuse me. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap then. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Oh, come to the retreat.
Yeah, guys, if you wanna check out the retreat, if you wanna come down and have a unique experience that many have said have changed their lives, it's pretty awesome. It's something that I'm proud of, to be part of. So if that's interesting to you at all, click the link below. Check out the reviews. We'll put a playlist of past retreat experiences. It's an awesome experience, and we'd love to see you down here to be part of that. So until then, we hope to see you someday.
So until then?
I said until then too, so
Oh.
we'll say it again. No, I screwed it up. But so until then.
Until then.
We'll
see you
next time, guys.
Take care. Of your point, but his point on that is his point is that the fundamentals of gold, silver, crypto, farmland, commodities, etc., are such that these things are going much higher. It's not like his.
But that's only fundamental in a fiat-based system.
Well, sure.
Right, but that's not fundamentals. That's like fundamental to being tied to a fiat currency. Being priced in. That's what they're going up in a fiat currency, right? That the fundamental.
Everything's got to go up or down in something.
But they can go up and down in ratios relative to other valuable things, right? Yeah. So when they're going to go up tremendously in relative to that's the reference point people are making though when they're making those statements. But what is gold or silver relative to productive farmland or an income producing rental property or a business or
right.
That's the real question
yeah, and that would have taken a longer conversation.
Well, the thing is, man, it's that's the conversation that we need to have because we're having the conversation without with these end time, apocalyptic predictions that aren't considering the fundamental that they're tied to being not existing anymore.
Right. Well, but that's where the difference of opinion is. So he doesn't think we're in that an end time apocalyptic.
Right, but because we're not
Yeah,
from
you
that
don't either,
perspective.
yeah.
I don't think we are. But we're at a point where there are many more people questioning the financial system.
Yeah.
Inflate, what are you doing?
I had sent myself something, but it didn't come through.
Dad,
Yeah?
can I play Fortnite?
No,
Why?
because
Please?
you got practice soon. You're not playing Fortnite. It's 2 o'clock. No.
So rude. Don't laugh, Jesse, because I was talking about you.
Okay, bro. What are you doing, dude?
I literally just answered that a second ago. You
Yeah,
asked
well,
me
but
and-
still?
Well, now I'm putting it back.
Oh,
Is that right? Are you flustered? Or
No, it's...
am I making you?
No,
Are
it's
you
taking
making
a
you
long time.
flustered?
It's taking a long time.
Too long for you?
I mean, in a way.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, it's fine.
I'd like to apologize to you
No, I would not accept your
for
apology.
that, for taking that long
I mean-
before I came back and sat down.
Thank you.
Sorry, man.
I will,
Sincerely.
I will let it slide.
Thanks. All right, Burn Bone.
Are we ready? What do you think of that? It's delicious. I mean, they're different. I'm
Yeah,
like,
this is like a very strong one.
strong but not sweet, right?
No,
Right. Like I mean, there's some sweet, but it's not like overly sweet.
no, not at all.
Right.
It's
So this is
delicious.
my favorite one.
Yeah,
Lolita's got it.
this is like
she's
medicinal.
optimizing the medicinal properties of the
It's all the alkaloids.
salud.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Did you say goodbye to your parents for me?
I did as we were driving down. We had to go through El Tambo, and then we dropped them off.
Oh, you went to the airport.
Yeah, I went with. Yeah, it was just I wasn't going to, and then I'm like,
Oh,
you
it's
know
a nice
what?
thing to do.
So yeah, Tiff, Bell, and I went. Quinn went to soccer, and we dropped them off. Got them to the airport. Went through El Tambo, which was fine. That's what you do, right? There. And then we're driving back, and I get a message from my dad. Got through security, getting ready to board. And about an hour, or half an hour later, we loaded the plane, and then they just unloaded us. The flight got canceled because they said because the plane was late, it got too dark, and they don't have runway lights. So they put him up at a hotel in Catamayo and got him a meal. But he's calling me. Tiff and I were out, like I forget where we were in town, or we were going over to the Aguantakas, and he's calling me. He's like, explaining everything. He's like, I need somebody that speaks Spanish because I have 2 questions. What time are they going to pick us up to take us to the airport tomorrow? And how do I get food? And that's it. I'm like, all right, I'll call you back in a little bit. And they ended up figuring it all out. Like they had a lot of firsts on this trip for them, but this was another one. They get their flight canceled at the little Catamayo airport. They get put up in a hotel.
Did that screw up all their connections?
Oh yeah, they literally just got to
Book
Chicago
everything.
this morning. So then they missed their flight. They ended up taking the next morning flight out of Catamayo to Quito, and then spent the day at the hotel that they had from the night before, and then flew out last night at like 11:40 and had to fly overnight. And then missed their connecting flight from American Airlines on the rebooked flight. They were too late, so then they ended up having
What's
a
the
longer
easiest to
delay.
Chicago? Through Florida?
I don't know. Flown through.
Atlanta.
We've done Atlanta. We've done Houston. We've done Miami, and we've done Panama. I kind of
Panama
like.
does direct?
I kind of like Panama. We like that. Florida's fine. I mean, they're all fine. Which I can't remember which one didn't. They made you go through customs. Or you had to check your bag, and then recheck it at the airport on the changeover. But yeah, but they just got back this morning, so they left Tuesday and got back home this morning. So it's a long trip, for them. But
Yeah.
they had a good time, man. A lot of firsts.
They're cool. They're like they roll with the punches. They're cool. They're relaxed. Like,
Yeah, they had fun. It was my mom's 75th birthday, so she wanted to spend it here, and she got to see Bella dancing, for the fire station groundbreaking, and all the big wigs in town, and Mayor Loja and Guevara. What's his first name? Jose Guevara, Jesse Guevara, Carl Guevara, Fernando Guevara, Jose. Yeah. Because we made a joke, like, you see when you're traveling through and you see all the Noboa Guevara signs. For the longest time, Bella thought that was one person. Who's Noboa Guevara? So he was there. So they got to see that. They sat us front row at the thing. So then, it's one of those where now that you're front row, it's cool for like 5 seconds, and then you realize you can't leave. Now we have to wait until they're done with everything and all the speeches and the music, but it was fun. So they got to see that. They got to see it's probably another one of their, bucket list things they never thought they'd check. Watching my granddaughter, dance for a groundbreaking ceremony in another continent, in traditional Ecuadorian clothing, Yeah. So they got that, and then they got the singer. They had this singer, Fernando Sanchez, I think his name was. He was really good. He almost stole my wife, but he was really good. And then they got to see Quinn play soccer in Ecuador for the first time, so that was cool.
Where in Loja?
Yeah, in Loja. It was the first time we've been. There's a new tournament they're starting up. It's at the Forest Experience, but we'd never been, and most of the places aren't really conducive for, my dad, safely walking at this point. But so we weren't sure, but we got there and it was awesome. It's right off the main road in Loja. There's a driveway down to a big parking area, like big, huge, flat parking that wasn't flooded. Like, holy cow. That was a nice surprise. There's a restaurant and bathrooms, and then the fields were awesome, like immaculate, nice outdoor, really cool setup. And you could drive right up. You could bring chairs right close. So it was like there wasn't another field that they've played on that would have been this good for my parents to be able to watch the game comfortably and safely.
Nice how things work out. Huh?
Yeah, and then they, and it was good. And they started it at first. The kids looked big, and Catamayo looked way bigger, and they got out to like a 1-0 lead really quick. And I'm immediately now like trying to reset my dad's expectations. I'm like, man, this could get out of hand, Dad. These kids are a lot bigger. They couldn't even move the ball past half. It could get out of hand on this game. And then, like 10 minutes later, Quinn made this direct kick. He got fouled, made the direct kick goal, like pretty deep. And he'd already, up to that point, he'd missed a couple of opportunities that he kind of normally would make. I mean, there weren't gimmies, but normally I would expect him to make some of those. And I'm starting to think, I'm like, wow, is he nervous? Like his grandparents are here for the first time. Was he nervous? And then he made that direct kick, and then it was like complete domination. He scored 5 goals, was player of the game, got interviewed, parents were proud, so there was a lot of cool moments like that. My mom got a tattoo. It was just, You know, right?
I mean, what? I mean, when we went to watch.
Well, what's up, October? You're just coming up, huh? You're a frequent return visitor to the podcast, October.
A friend of the show.
Friend of the show. What's up, dude?
We went to.
Dude, he's literally right here.
I'm not gonna start again.
You have to.
When we went to watch Kirsten and Bella.
Un momento, se está desconectando así cada rato.
The whole time. I mean, that's like a ballsy rooster.
I mean, I think Rooster by definition.
But he's little, man. Look at him. Hey. She's gonna know he's little in a second. Jeez. We're filming a show. We're filming a show. We're filming a show. We're filming a show.
Roosters are very good-looking animals.
Yeah. Dude, you should have seen the one that we replaced, because he was the bastard rooster. We had a main rooster.
Yeah.
But he was huge, dude. He was huge and beautiful.
Yeah.
Like beautiful and large. And then and then we had chicks, and he ended up coming, and he tried to kill him, and it was like, so this guy got smart, and he started flying out of the coop.
Yeah.
And just hanging out outside and coming in at night, and he would hang out outside, and then finally it got too much where the other rooster was like attacking the kids, and I'm like, all right, time to go. We get, I was too chicken to
No pun
get
intended.
him, and so Dario comes and grabs him, and literally he's like in the back of the truck just holding him. I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. You're a chicken whisperer, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what his nephews tell me, like Igor tells me, Brandon, I'm a chicken worker, And, but yeah, so then we replace him, and then this guy, all of a sudden he flies back in. Now he kind of took over the hens, but then he still comes out and does this stuff. Like,
Got the sloppy seconds.
yeah, well, he's got a couple new ones. He's got a couple new ones that were fresh.
You think he's like a little insulted?
I don't know, man. I mean, obviously I think so, because he comes over here, he knows like what we're doing, and he just made sure to get really loud right during the show. Yeah. Tiff and I were staying down here when my parents were here. And this beautiful animal would literally come up like right down below the window and you know, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning.
A lot of them start at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, there's some random. I don't understand that. We should figure out what they're doing. Are they talking to each other? What's the point of the, you know? Because I was under the Hollywood myth that roosters just crowed in the morning.
Like sun up.
As soon as the sun came up, they would crow. But they actually crow all the frickin' time.
Right.
Cockadoodle do a lot.
Yeah, and they definitely, yeah. Like, the 2, 3 in the morning, they seem to start the like chorus.
Yeah.
Still can't believe the Knicks are up 2-0 in Boston.
In Boston.
They go back to the Garden now.
Yeah. Should be interesting. Should be interesting.
All right. Let's do it.
Should we? Well, I like it. Take me down a road that's a little bit windy. Like every road in Ecuador.
I think did you literally have that song on repeat?
To a place they still put sugar in there.
Because I definitely
Horchata.
heard it back to back.
They
Just
put
now
panela
in your house.
in you. To a place they still put panela in horchata. Where the women are fine and the love is fair. Hey Jesse, I would go with you anywhere.
Thanks, Brandon.
What's up, guys? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Dun-dun-dun. I can't get him. I can't. I don't know. He's too cool for me these days.
A little sleepy.
Yeah. Well, you just did an interview. You know,
Yeah.
you're probably tired of talking.
I'm a little tired. It's such a beautiful day. It's like river. It's river time.
Dude, it was a great day. We've had a lot of great days recently.
Yeah, the rain has subsided a bit. Or completely, really.
Yeah, it was a little windy
We are in
today.
that time. Yeah, we're in that crossover time.
I like it.
I like when it's like this. I like when we
Yeah.
just have that deep blue sky.
Right.
And the sun, and
It
it's
was no clouds.
high atmosphere.
Did you see last night how bright it was? I mean, we're not even close to a full moon yet, are we? And it was so clear
You know.
and so bright. It was like it was abnormal. Like you get used to, you know, you kind of take for granted some of that after being here, or at least I do. Not intentionally, but it's just become, you know, like it just is. But last night, it was abnormally bright for the stage of the moon right now. It was wild. Like it was lights on in my house. That bright. Like it made me think like, wow, we should really look at this cock-a-doodle-doo.
All right,
right
I'm
back.
going. Let's go.
We already started. I tried to start
We're
it.
starting again. Hello and welcome back.
What's up,
to the
guys?
Ecuador Insider Podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel here. For real estate videos, click here. For content you're gonna absolutely love, right here. And to find out how these crazy guys got to Ecuador, click right here.